Hello, my name is Shuttle here. Welcome back for another episode of Victoria 3 as Ethiopia. In previous episode, we managed to get a little bit more new lands over here. So we got Portugal's holdings in Mozambique, and also we got the southern half of Madagascar, which is very rich in coal, which is why we wanted that in the first place. We managed to build already a port in there, so at least some of the coal is going to be brought into the network. I'm just going to... Okay, yeah, it is using cargo port, so we might need to get another level in a shipyard as well. Put that underway. And let's unpause. Now, how much do we actually have iron and tools and all that as excess? We do actually have a little bit of extra. So, oh, dynamite unlocked. Excellent. That is going to be very useful. I think we might want to get some either society things. Psychiatry would be useful. Bureaucracy population cost modifier goes down. More influence. So we can do more diplomacy things. Or if we go for the military, we could get the power to purse to start reducing some of the research costs for the next level things. Plus, we could have more naval bases, which is always nice. But I think we're going to go with that one. Hey, racial segregation. Which sounds weird to say it's a good thing, but, you know, it's a little bit better. At least there's a little bit less discriminated populations. But we do need to reduce one of our taxes then. We'll just take the tea tax away, I suppose. And the British were happy about it. Right, so I think it's time to increase our construction. We could maybe get a level in Somaliland. Just in case, because we got the most of the resources for it anyway. Let's pull that to the top. We got a lot of money, so we can afford increasing the construction speed at least to some degree. And it's going to be done fairly quickly, so that's going to speed up the tool workshop construction in our capital. We're missing a little bit of bureaucracy though, so we might want to... You know what, do we have bureaucracy in here? Also, is the tax capacity still fine? But we could probably build a government administration in here, just to have at least one. Over here, how bad is the... Turmoil is still around 60%. So we haven't really improved the situation over here yet. We are building at least one millet farm. We could... I suppose... Let's have a look at the... So fabric price is fairly low. I mean, if you have a look at the balances in here. So tea, we got pretty high balance. We've got a lot of wine, fruits, fish, some iron as well. A bit of dyes. We do have a dye farm in here, don't we? Yes, we do. Or dye plantations. We got two of them, in fact. But since this one isn't connected to anything, that's probably part of the reason. So let's go ahead and bring in the port. Where is that? So that's Somaliland port. That's Yemen. That's Hejaz. So some BT ports are down here. So bring that up to the top after the tooling workshop. So at least we'll get that one done sooner rather than later. So we'll have a lot more tools to go around. Now that this is connected to the places, we can start building more stuff there. Use a bit of tools. The fishing walls, we could maybe start using the clippers, although that would get rather expensive fairly quickly. But that means a bit less slaves being used here, which is probably for the best. And over here, actually, we got the tools. If we just go for the condensing engine pump over here on the coal mines, that's going to increase the coal production a lot. So yeah, we'll go for that. Oh, and do we have any explosive production yet? No, I don't think we do. We can start making some. We'll get the first level over here right now. And then what we could maybe do is switch, for example, the iron mine over here to start using the dynamite. It's going to increase the engineers' use a bit, so unemployment is going to be a problem. Or rather, lack of unemployment is going to be a problem. It's going to increase the production just a little bit. But like this is a very small one, so there's only one mine, so we can make sure that the consumption of the explosives isn't going to be too massive. Although we could maybe start increasing that even further soon, although we don't have the sulfur production for it yet, so perhaps not quite yet. How's the coal situation now? We're lacking a little bit. We've got a lot of purchase orders for them. We're producing about, or we're getting about 40 into the market rather. So the sulfur mines, we already got pretty good stuff over there. We could go for the... If we go for the condensing pump engine, we'll hopefully have enough coal still brought in here, and that's going to increase the sulfur production even further, because it seems like we still have a lot of... actually, no, we got a little bit extra cell orders now, in which case we could increase the chemical plants production a tiny bit again to get another 20 explosives, and in that case we could maybe... It would feed itself, basically. Yeah, if we put in another... or start using explosive for the sulfur mines as well, to increase the sulfur production as much as possible. We can start using more and more of that into making explosives, which we can then use on other things. Like this one, Yeah, we're going to afford doing that, I reckon. So how much are we producing? Up to 70 explosives. Building the port over here now for Zambezia. And the coal mines, of course, are still going to be... Or the extra coal mines are going to be pretty far away still. I mean, we'll probably get through these a lot of these constructions rather quickly. I might as well let them go through that. I mean, there's going to be a lot of good stuff. Well, relatively good stuff coming up there. The censorship is something that the... I wonder... Got pretty good support overall. Of course, intelligentsia would hate us if we do that, and trade unions. But at the same time, landowners would start liking us a bit more. Church would get us, well, get back to +5, so they'd be happy. Armed forces would be happy, bourgeoisie would be happy. Also, does that increase our authority? It does, but at the same time, it costs us a bit more text spread. So, perhaps not yet. The radicalism isn't too bad in there. And I think the radicalism is actually going down overall. Although in the past year it has gone up, but I'm sure that it's going to start going down. Right, so how's the turmoil over here? Is there any turmoil? There's 46% turmoil. We definitely need to get some more ports in here. I'll just put this to max level in terms of ports. It also gives us a lot of convoys, which is not a bad idea. We can do more trading. Right, so the next target for us is going to be Egypt, most likely. Once we start fighting, but I suppose what we could do, we don't have the ammunition production. How much do we have of the military stuff? We're lacking a little bit small arms, as well as a lot in artillery. So I suppose what I'm just going to go ahead and do is, the barracks, I'm going to go all for mobile artillery. That's going to probably increase the artillery costs quite a bit, admittedly. But it's going to increase the demand over there, and I think, well, actually, it's probably not going to increase the production all that much. Total in action. The armed forces are dissatisfied with the inclusion of the intelligentsia in the Ethiopian government. Respect soldiers who protect your right to pontificate. Do what you do best, soldiers, and follow orders. Or nation needs protection for both armies and bad ideas. That would reduce our authority a lot. Armed forces isn't particularly loyal, but at the same time, intelligentsia, we can afford losing some of your approval for now. We'll still have the first bonus there, which reduces the society tech costs, which can be quite useful, admittedly. Right, so we got the explosive stuff done. If we were to increase the... I don't suppose we have enough coal yet. We're lacking a little bit. It's not too bad price yet, though. So I suppose what we could do is we could go for the lead mines and increase the production there a little bit. It's 40 coals, which is probably going to be a bit of an overkill. And how's the chemical plant? It's the explosive price are still very small. So technically speaking, what we could probably do is go for the lead mines and start using dynamite there. That'd be plus 40 explosive use. But also the lead production would be massive. I believe we've got some class works over here that it is already using leaded class. We could go for the crystal class. Would increase the production even further. Of course, there's basically no workers in here, which is a bit of a problem. Oh, another thing that I should do is get ceramics production in here. It's going to increase the dye usage a lot. That'll be fine. Is there any other things that we could maybe start reducing the workforce in here? Especially... Oh, right, actually, if we start using the boilers, that's going to reduce the labor use drastically. I believe the glassworks there isn't an option for that yet. Food industries, there's going to be future options, but not yet. Paper mills, we could put in the boilers in here as well. The coal price is going to go through the roof. We could go for a bit of sulfur consumption for the paper production here. Yeah, we'll start using the sulfite pulping in there. And we've got a total of 70 battalions right now. Of course, that's not including the stuff that we're constructing. But over here we've got a little bit unemployed, not a lot. Over here we don't even have that much. I suppose if we were to get some substitution for that, we could maybe get some more furniture produced. Or like a furniture produced with less people. Oh, there we go, we got our connection over here. So this one should be lowering in turmoil. Proposal of a trade agreement from Ottoman Empire. That would reduce the bureaucracy use, so I'll take that. Of course, it also means that we get a little bit less money, but that's fine. Oh, Zambezia has now 100% market access. I mean, I suppose there's not a lot of constructions in there. Right, well, that's going to be good. The glassworks over here is already producing crystal glass and the porcelain, which means that they're probably going to be recruiting a lot of people now. But that is fine. How's the situation in Europe? North German Federation... Oh! Austria lost a war against North German Federation. Although they still control various locations in the northern Germany as well. But like, part of Slovakia has been conquered. I think that's Slovakia anyway. No, actually Moravia, so that is part of Czech Republic, modern day. Never mind. Oh, Sweden and Norway have joined the Russian market. Interesting. Who's in the Dutch market? Oh, Dutch are in the British market. Actually, I suppose the easiest way to see that stuff is just open this menu. So that's British market, American market. Oh, and we got Communist New African market and New African market. Okay, so there's a revolution going on, or a revolt going on in there, which is probably part of a revolt that happened, or like that may have been part of the Civil War in America, where then these, I presume, the Confederates had a revolution which got independence, and now the revolution has a revolution. Not confusing at all. So Mexican market, Brazilian market has spread a little bit. So you're part of Brazilian market, I presume. Venezuela, British market over here. The Dutch are part of it, I suppose. We could join the French market if we wanted to, but I'd prefer to stay on my own. Oh, Portugal is in the Austrian market. And you're on your own market there. Interesting. Then we've got the East India Company market, King market. Oh, Japan is part of King market. Alright, I mean, it makes sense. There's a lot of resources in there that you can utilize, or sell your own things into the Chinese market. Right, well, I mean, that's a lot of markets. But yeah, once we get the steel production, which isn't probably all that far off, actually. Well, we're gonna get the munitions plant first, before we get to the steel, among other things, a lot of ports as well. But that's gonna increase the infrastructure values as well as the available convoys, which means that we can do more trading. So, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Also, I suppose it does increase the amount of trade centers in here. We currently have 57. And how much does one of these hire? It's about 1,000 employees per? Right, that is quite a bit, actually. Right, so tooling workshop, we could actually go for the boiler in here to reduce the labor use even further. Don't really need to do a lot of that labor reducing maneuvers over here in our core territories. I mean, Somaliland maybe, but there's nothing over there that really uses labor or things that we can do to reduce the labor use, other than maybe at the mines eventually. Right now, that's probably not going to be an option either. What we might want to do is... Oh! France expel our diplomats. Okay, right. We can't improve relations with them. They probably want some of our lands. I do believe our... Oh, right. So trade routes are now a bit rubbish with the French. Let's reduce one of them, because we're paying a lot of bureaucracy for that. Okay, let's... First things first, I'm going to increase one of the coal mines from here to the top. We need more coal. And then once we get some more other things, we can... like, basically just want to increase the production of the coal in here. We currently produce 60 per level. We'll be able to get that even higher once we start using explosives to get to 85. That one doesn't actually increase it. And that one doesn't increase it. But yeah, we can get it to like 85 per level until we unlock the diesel pump, which is going to be another 30. It'd be 90 plus 25, so 115 per level. Plus the throughput bonuses when you build more and more in there. We can get the throughput bonus pretty high in here, actually, if we want to. Now, we don't have that many peasants available in this region, but we've got decent production still overall. And the population growth is fairly substantial, actually. Well, 5,000 per year. So it's enough for one building, basically, per year. But we've got a lot of construction still underway. And the naval base over there. Okay, so that's gonna not get done quite yet. How much naval base? Okay, we've got 17. France is damaging relations. Okay, how about we have a look at who could we... Where are we using our points anyway? We're still improving Austrian relations. We could probably stop improving the relations there. Is Britain something that we could maybe improve? We could... Oh, they're belligerents as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and improve relations with Britain. And Russia are protective. We could maybe improve relations with... Although, can we? Oh yeah, we can. Improve relations with Russia. We may need to seek some help from somewhere. We don't have any allies yet, which is starting to be a problem. I mean, Egypt is an option. They're cautious, though. What about Ottoman Empire? They are genial. But I don't suppose we can form an alliance or anything. Because we don't have... Oh, right. We don't have enough influence to do that. Is one of the reasons. But yeah, we'll probably need to stay a bit low for the time being. I mean, the infamy is dropping at least. And assuming that the French don't declare war on us before that, I mean, if they declare war on us to ban slavery or something like that, then that's fine. I can back down from that quite easily. But if they want to take a lot of my land, like these two, for example, then that's a problem. French Ethiopia interest removed. And Great Britain is damaging relations. Oh, come on. Everyone's against me. Okay, well, that's terrible news. How is France? They are still probably... Yeah, they are belligerent. Oh, they got a peasant revolt. I believe that's in here. I don't know if they are actually part of that, but they might be. Oh, we got that second coal mine done. Excellent. That should increase the coal production even further. We are producing 72 right now. They're still hiring. Okay, so yeah, that is increasing steadily. So we'll have a bit more coal to use. We could maybe start using the... Actually, the iron price isn't too bad, so we don't actually need to worry about that one. Why is the things that we need? You need more coal for the tooling workshop. I suppose that's something that we are improving now. So the coal price is dropping. How bad is the coal price right now anyway? Plus 48%, so yeah, there's a bit of a demand for it for sure. Because a lot of the production that we do in here doesn't actually end up in our market. Or the market as a whole. So yeah, that is going to be a bit of a problem. We got another naval base, so we could have up to 18 flotillas already. We got 17, and I think we're still hiring on... yeah. Still hiring slowly but surely. We don't have a massive amount of extra population in Somaliland, but the standard of living is actually pretty decent in there. 14.8. It's actually higher than a lot of other areas that we have. If we hover over this... Actually, it's not showing the... Oh, there we go. So we can see the... So Yemen is pretty good. Hejaz is pretty terrible in terms of standard of living. Zambezia is terrible, and South Madagascar isn't too bad. And the turmoil is actually increasing in here. How much? There's a lot of peasants available all around here. And I suppose we've got pretty good market access, though. If you have a look at the... Just generally speaking, what are we missing? We need more clothing. We definitely need more clippers. We could do some tobacco farming in here, I suppose, to get some work for the people. Of course, it's going to be mostly slaves, so that's not really particularly useful. But we've got 13.2 million in population right now, which isn't bad. And we're getting the extra level of port over here in Somaliland very shortly. And that's all the naval bases. Well, actually, no, we're still missing one more naval base in there, but that's going to be 20 fleets or 20 flotillas. That's going to be enough to land one of the armies. House repairs unlocked. No, now we could increase the level to 30 if we wanted to. I could speed up the psychiatry research. Or in the production, what are we getting? We're getting the rapid mastication, which isn't bad either. But I think I want to go for the psychiatry first. That's going to reduce the bureaucracy use quite a bit. Because we are using a decent chunk for the population. Incorporated. Oh, what profiteering? As if it's led by Alatrunsa, are protesting against the weapons manufacturing in Gondar. Is that... That's intelligentsia. How is their loyalty right now? It's 3. If we go for that one, none of these will increase the intelligence's loyalty. We shall not be shamed for our good craftsmanship. The ammunition is not that far off from being completed. Right, the steel mill is also something that we should probably go for the Bessemer process from the get-go, and the water-jet boilers, to reduce some of the workforce required in there. Although I don't know if it's going to be that much of a profit. Oh, country grains is spreading. Okay, that's going to be useful. That's going to allow us to... Actually, did that increase the port max level again? I think it might. Yes, it does. And it also allows you to do the industrial port, which does use steamers to produce the convoys, but that is going to be a lot more convoys per port. And also, I believe it increases the infrastructure gain from the ports as well. Quite a bit. Okay, our GDP is now 35 million, so that has started increasing quite a bit. And we started with like around 1 million or 600,000, I believe, at the beginning of the game. So we got on a pretty decent increase in there in the 50 years or so that we played. Well, technically speaking 49 years, but yeah, we're going to round it up to 50. Literary rate is slowly going up, so is there... Turmoil is maybe slowly dropping in here. Over here is still 42% as well. You can just increase the market access, that'd be brilliant, but I don't know if we can. I mean, there's something that we could probably do about that. We still got on... We got the encourage manufacturing, and they've got some of the taxes. Okay, so we've got a little bit extra authority right now. I'm guessing over here the standard of living, it's 12.3 actually. Ah, That's a lot better than I expected, if I'm all honest. There's a lot of lack of workforce in here, though. I'm going to reduce the fishing wharfs level by 1, just to reduce the sort of extra workforce required. And this one is missing a lot of coal. There's not much I can do about that one. Do we have a lot of demand for luxury furniture? Or do we... Well, there's a decent bit of demand for it, yeah. I don't know if we have the wood production for it. Like, it would require a lot of hardwood. I mean, technically speaking, what we could do, of course, is just get more logging camps in these two to produce more of it, because these are the places where we produce the hardwood right now. I'm just keeping the capital producing the regular stuff for the most part, because that is pretty decent amount of production overall. Is there actually... There's a little bit higher demand there than supply, but it's not too bad. The Sahara country has been researched, so that does give us a little bit more influence. Hopefully that will help with some of the things. Right, production. We're going to go for the rubber mastication now. That's 7 to 12 months. Or, I don't know what it's going to be. We're going to go with the dialect, actually. Because once we get that, we can start increasing the university's effectiveness. Of basically 1 extra innovation per university. We currently have 5 universities or something like that. So if we get an extra point, so that would be getting us to 65 innovation per week. Which wouldn't be too bad. I'm about to get the munitions plant soon. Well, next week. Oh, and fine arts is actually being in demand again. Oh, central banking is spreading. That is actually quite useful tech as well. Increasing the... Well, we've got a lot of money right now. I suppose one thing that I could consider is reduce the taxation levels for a little bit. It's going to increase the legitimacy. It's going to reduce the radicalism. Of course, it does reduce our income as well. But if we can start to reduce the radicalism to, say, at least below 2 million, maybe increase the loyalists as well. At least, well, it might not increase the loyalists directly. But if we just have less radicals, then there's more likelihood of getting this stuff up. And of course, if we increase the bureaucracy, we can still get more tax... Yeah, tax waste of 3% right now, which is about 3,000. Maybe 3.5. Alright, we got the munitions factory, and there is some demand for it. I think people are trying to buy them from us. I suppose at this stage we could start upgrading some of the barracks to start using the ammunition already. So, skirmish infantry it is. That's going to increase the demand a lot. And I don't know if we are producing enough. Is that in explosives? There is a lot of production of explosives, actually. Is there a lot of lead then, I suppose, is the next question. There is quite a bit available. Let us go ahead and increase the munitions plant's production then. Explosive shells. So more explosive than lead, but that's a lot more ammunition. Less laborers as well, but more other things. So I suppose we could actually increase the skirmish infantry in... I don't know if we can increase it in all 3 of these, but we'll do it regardless. Because that means that there's going to be a lot more demand for things. The certain movement is possible. Oh. Right, it's probably down here, isn't it? Hold on a minute. Is this Senna? Yep, it is. Okay. There's a little bit of chance, but it's not too bad yet. Population is increasing in here. Assuming that we can get into production, or producing some of the things in there. Like just producing more iron and stuff like that. We can already get probably pretty decent amounts of things from there. And it will also increase the employment in there. Although a lot of the employment is not going to be that useful necessarily. We produce a lot of porcelain at least, and glass. The lead price is now through the roof again, so we'll need to increase the lead mines that we have here. And we just need to increase the total population in Yemen, quite frankly. I don't know how much I can do about it. I mean, if we were to increase the market access, that would probably be fixing some issues, although not all of it. So an explosive demand is still not too bad. Oh, we're about to get the steel mill. Well, in half a year. We'll get the port in Yemen, which is actually quite useful. Of course, that is assuming that we'll have full complement of workers in there. That, well, we'll probably have that soon. And then we'll be able to increase the infrastructure to 81. I don't suppose there's an increase in the ports for this throughput. No, it's just a flat level in there. Like, you'll just need to get the production methods over here for the steamers, and, well, I mean, once we do get that, we will take it. The elections are going. Liberal Party and Agrarian Party are still the two biggest ones. Kindly parent this letter. Liberal Party, stand by. Okay, right, we'll just reduce the popularity from the intelligentsia a little bit. Going perhaps a little bit backwards in here, but that's fine. Fish price is still fairly low. The fine arts is going a bit back and forth. Zimbabwean uprising. Oh, hello. Okay, the Portuguese will have to do a landing in here. They might have some troops defending that. Well, I suppose I don't think I can join that, can I? Not yet, at least. Let's close some of these to make the list slightly shorter. Right, so we have gotten up to 640,000 loyalists, and the radicals are still about 2.4 million, but it has gone down a little bit from a year ago. And we're about to get the steel mill, so that's gonna actually... What is the things that we need the most in terms of using the steel for? Probably the small arms could be useful. And of course the motor industry is gonna use some. The artillery we could increase production. I don't suppose tools are something... Well, we could use a bit more tools, but it's not too bad. So we don't really need to switch to iron tools quite yet. But we'll have some, at least if we switch to the rifles in here, we'll be able to get a little bit more small arms out. Right now it's not going to be worthwhile. Oh, French in Ethiopia interest removed. Okay, so how do the French feel about me now? They're still belligerent, but yeah, I can't do much about it. I can just, well, I don't even think I can strengthen our army all that much. Let's have a look at the politics. So for the... If we were to switch to the appointed bureaucrats, the landowners would hate that again. A lot of the others would love that. It's 19% chance of success. That is a decent one. What about the professional army? That's only 6% chance. And a lot of groups in our government would hate that. So the government would fall apart. So I suppose we'll go for the appointed bureaucrats. I know that landowners will hate that, but we can start reducing their power even further. Plus it increases the tax efficiency even further. Speaking of which, do we have a low... Oh yeah, insufficient tax capacity. Gondar and Amhara still have that. That would be quite useful. I'm just hoping that we can keep the... yeah, we can keep the agrarian liberal parties in the government. That's going to keep us more or less going with this appointed bureaucrats law. Now we're losing a little bit of cash right now because we got the lowered taxes. But like we got £4 million cash or so, we can probably afford losing a little bit of that without any problems. And we can still start reducing or continue... Oh, industrial boom. Oh, food industry in Oromia. Interesting. Well, I mean, that's good. We could actually increase the level over here at some point. You know what, we'll queue that already because it's going to be making a lot of money. Of course, one thing that we do need to worry about is Oromia running out of infrastructure soon. Until we get the motor industries, which is probably... It's there. We'll have a lot of other things built before that, but we're going to use some of the steel for producing more weapons at least, if nothing else. Oh, and French Ethiopia interest activated. They keep activating and deactivating that. There's quite a large support for the censorship now. I suppose it's largely the landowners and the church that support that right now. But they do have quite a bit of support overall. Okay, the steel mill is about to be completed. Just 2 more weeks. And then the port in Hejaz. Although I don't know if there's enough workforce for the port in Hejaz. Probably not. Oh, Shona people have begun migrating to the Lourenco Marquez. So the one over here. Oh, that might actually be some of our population. Well, if it reduces the turmoil, then it's probably fine. I'm going to keep these just non-incorporated states for the time being. Like, we could maybe get a bit more taxes, but if we go for the exploitation colonialism thing, we can get more throughput from the resource, or from the... I think at least the extraction and some other thing... well, I suppose we can just have a look at the law. Rather than just... yeah, so throughput in unincorporated states, so it's basically everything. Election. Right. We'll probably keep the government as is. So, oh, armed forces are part of the Liberal Party. Right. Sure. I'll believe it. Oh, and we got petite bourgeoisie and trade unions are marginalized right now. We might be able to marginalize the church at some point, although, well, they do have some nice bonuses overall. I suppose it's not too bad, but the landowners, we definitely need to reduce their power so that they're no longer the powerful or influential as much. I mean, well, slave trade is still a massive impact in there. And I suppose since we have the landed voting, then that means that they are probably very high in the sort of voting portion of the population. At least it would make sense. And there we go, we got our steel industry going, so let's go ahead and activate our rifling over here. And also we can probably go for the smooth bores. That means that steel consumption is going to be relatively high, but we should be producing quite a bit from this one. Up to 90 units of steel. That should be more than plenty of our needs right now. Is there anything else that could use steel? I mean, the tooling industry, yes. The motor industry will use steel. The shipyards, once we switch to the steamer production, I believe will use steel as well. But not yet. Is there actually extra fishing wharf here? I mean, it's mostly stuff already. We could maybe reduce it by one level. Reduces some of the clipper usage as well. Although it does increase some of the radicalism in here because people lost their jobs. Rifling completed. Modernize the arsenal. So we can increase the throughput by 20% or by 10%. No, actually 5% and get 3,000 progress on the repeaters. I'm going to take the repeaters actually. Well, I mean, some progress on that, because that is going to increase the production even further once we get to that. So we're getting the cranes first. It might go for the repeaters afterwards. Pre-loading artillery would be quite useful as well, if we can keep the ammunition production high enough. Which I don't know if we have enough right now. I mean, there's not that much demand for it, quite frankly. So probably yes. Let's just go ahead and increase our barracks all to start using the skirmish infantry. It might be costly. It's going to increase ammunition consumption by 40, small arms by 20. But I'll take it. And I suppose we could put in the conscription centers to start using some cannons and infantry as well. Even though they're not... I don't plan on activating the conscripts unless it's a disaster. Increase the fleet combat effectiveness as well a little bit. Admittedly, not a lot. Right, I suppose since we already got the motor industries underway here, what we could do is we could start building some railways. Build 2 levels in our capital, and at least 1 level on both of these. We'll build a 1 level in Yemen, probably 1 level in Hejaz. Somaliland could use at least a level, presumably. I mean, if we have a look at the... Well, that one's currently fully... Yeah, but if we start increasing the productions in there, then yeah, we're going to need more. Ethiopia, or the Oromia is going to need some. This one's definitely going to need some. And of course, also the tax collection capacity is pretty bad right now. But once we get the appointed bureaucrats past, that should be fine. That was already getting a little bit extra infrastructure from the port there, at least in theory. But yeah, if we can increase the infrastructure even further, that would be very useful. Especially for the mining purposes in there. And of course, Yemen is going to need a bit more. But we are unfortunately out of time for this episode. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also get the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.